So we're here at id Software with creative director Tim Willits. Tim, thanks a lot for joining.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
So Tim, we're getting ready to go into E3, and we're going to see a whole lot more of this Rage game. Tell us about what we're going to see at E3.
Well, this year what we wanted to do is give people a chance to actually play the game. Last year we had a presentation, it was great, but this year people get their hands on the controllers, and we're going to bring a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to have some Wasteland things you can play. We'll have, Dead City, Newton Bash, and you can fight against different bandit clans. But the newest thing at the show this year is we're showcasing the Authority. And and if you know anything about Rage, you know that they're the military force that is trying to control the Wasteland.
For a long time, we've been showing a lot of mutants, a lot of bandits, some of the towns, but we've never shown any of the Authority. We've given little hints about it, and we've hinted that it's a sci-fi presence and it's going to be this unexpected thing for the player. But it's also going to be unexpected for everybody that goes to E3, that for the first time they'll be seeing these badass soldiers come into play. It's just a taste. We don't want to give everything away, but it should be pretty exciting. We really want the player to be thrown for a loop, to have to adjust, find a new way to take these down. But we have all these cool weapons. We have these cool engineering items. Those are the tools we get the player to tackle that challenge, and we're constantly doing that as you move through the game. And that's one of the things we said right from the beginning, is we want something new around every corner. We want it to be fresh and new, not reinvent the rules, but still keep you engaged in the game.
You play an Ark survivor, somebody from the past, someone that has nanotrites embedded inside your body. And nanotrites play into the fiction. They can heal you. If you die, you can use your personal defibrillator to get back into the action. And also, the original architects of the Eden Project embedded into each survivor a bit of information that, when pieced together, kind of unlocks all the knowledge of mankind. So the Authority is hunting down these Ark survivors and acquiring that knowledge themselves. And they're trying to shape the Wasteland in their image. So you fight for freedom, you fight with your resistance against the Authority, to save the future of mankind.
We don't want to give everything away because the story means a lot to us. But you learn as a player, at first, they're not that aware of you and you're not that aware of them. You really don't know. But it's a major element of the story, especially in the last half of the story. You're kind of figuring out who they are, what they want, and they're figuring out what you are and that you're a threat.
Aside from that, we've seen some of the other areas in the game. We've seen Dead City, for instance, which is the place where mutants go to get much bigger and much scarier, apparently. Tell us about what we can expect from this area.
Yeah, that also has an Authority tie-in too. They're in there, they're doing experiments. You're not really sure what to expect. You go in, and you meet a couple of the smaller mutants about your size, and you see one that's 12 foot tall, and then you see a giant 60 foot tall mutant. And again, that's about keeping it fresh for the player. You'll have to change your tactics a little bit every time you run into one of these new kind of mutated creatures.
We're going to finally get to see a whole bunch of this stuff at E3, a bunch of different new areas playable, a bunch of new enemies that we'll be able to meet for the first time. At E3, what are the things that you hope people are going to kind of take away from the presentation at E3?
So we're going to give a little taste, a little chunk of a bunch of different elements, because again, we're pushing diversity. We feel it's important to not just give you one playthrough of one single level. So we're going to actually let people pick and choose what they want to play. If they want to battle it out in a rocket race, or go through the Authority prison and see those guys for the first time, or fight some of the mutants in Dead City, you'll get to do all of those things. And what we really hope is people, again, they see the diversity, that there's a lot to offer, and it's really just about seeing those elements like the quick use items, throwing a wing stick for the first time. You can't do that in another game because it doesn't exist. So we want people to really pick up on all the things that we're offering that are new, but still staying true to our roots. First-person action shooter. The game looks good, it plays good, we have that, but then some things you haven't seen before.
Rage takes place in this kind of post-apocalyptic wasteland, but it sounds like maybe some sort of story before the big apocalypse. Can you tell us about where players can learn more about this story that kind of leads into it?
Well, one of the great things about Rage is we really try to make the universe and setting more than just a linear story. So we've teamed up with Dark Horse Comics, and we've actually are in the process of releasing 3 comic book stories that take place about 10 years before you enter the scene, which is a really kind of neat and exciting way for fans to learn more about the game, learn more about where they come from, and to learn about characters that they meet that they may meet in the game.
So Tim, that's a great overview of what we're going to see for Rage at E3. Can you remind our viewers at home when the game is coming out and for what platforms?
Well, Rage will be out this fall, and it'll be available on the PC, the 360, and the PS3.